Happy Saturday, guys. Hope you guys are enjoying it. I'm here chilling about 9 a.m. We're getting ready to go to breakfast, but we're hanging here at the park. It's just beautiful up here in NorCal. But I wanted to get on here and talk to you guys about these lawsuits that I have sitting in federal court. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm suing Liberty Bankers, SBLI, and Ethos. And the main reason I'm suing them is one, they are basically cold calling my cell phone to solicit final expense. And both of these companies, all three of these companies, have done just that. One of them more than others, but at the end of the day, they're calling without permission, without consent, and they're trying to sell me some final expense. And what's crazy is that myself, I never once opted in, asked for the information, not one time. It makes no sense for me to create harm for myself by calling into either my competitors' advertisements to get a final expense quote. I never do that, which makes it even crazier because my phone has been on the do not call registry since December of 2022. And guess what? The calls don't stop. Every day, I must turn down 5, maybe 10 unsolicited calls for final expense, solar, you name it. But the bottom line is that over the course of the last year, I've been documenting these three companies particular that have been blowing up my phone. Again, some more than others. But we've all seen these type of lawsuits. They're very dangerous because a TCPA lawsuit can cost you a lot of money. But what's even worse now is the fact that not only are these agencies breaking the law when it comes to TCPA and DNC, but even worse, now they're hiring overseas guys, overseas centers to sell insurance on their behalf. So now imagine if you're a licensed insurance agent, now you're buying leads from these people. And on top of this, you're having them sell insurance on your behalf. And these guys got all the tools. They got, final expense toolkits that does the underwriting. They have access to the quotes. And what they do is they solicit, they, impersonate the life insurance company that they're working for, and they sell the policy. And then once they sell the policy for the agent, they collect the Social Security, the amount of coverage, the amount they're going to pay, the banking coordinates. They collect everything, and then they pass it on to the life insurance agent. Well, that's highly illegal. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that if you don't have a life insurance license, you cannot solicit insurance. And believe me, years ago, we called the Department of Insurance, talked to the Department of Insurance, and asked, what can a virtual assistant do for us? And they were very clear that they can only ask general questions. They cannot solicit, pitch, run rates, do underwriting. They can't do any of that without it being a violation of licensing laws. So now imagine you got these well-known life insurance companies. They're on the hook. And yes, these agencies are 1099 agencies, but the companies are benefiting from what these agents are doing. One of these companies that is on the hook right now, they've been blowing up my phone, attempting to settle with me after they ignored, my initial notice 4 or 5 months ago. Now they're tripping out because they realize just how of a mess they're in. Think about it. Not only are they breaking do not call registry laws, they're violating TCPA laws, And those violations are $1,500 per violation. Spoof numbers, those are like $10,000 per violation. So in terms of fines, these companies are just racking up a bunch of fines. But again, I want to highlight the fact that they're using non-licensed people to sell insurance. And what do you think happens with these overseas centers that are doing this selling? Well, these companies understand that the insurance business works on advances, and they understand how we get compensated. And unfortunately, what they do is that these companies, they'll sell you the policy. And then once you take that policy, let's say you take that to Royal Neighbors, and now Royal Neighbors submits it, the agent gets an advance. Once the advance is done, the overseas center, they take their money, their whatever they agreed to, and then they take that same information and they sell it to another agent. Another agent now that takes it to, let's say, American Amicable Group. And now you got 3 or 4 companies out there that submitted that person's information. 3 different agents got an advance, especially if the company pays advances on issue. But then eventually the client finds out that there's 3 policies on their name. And what do you think happens? That call center that sold you that garbage lead, that pre-closed deal, they're gone. They're nowhere to be found. And they're gone with 3 of those commissions. And the agents are stuck with the chargeback and also having to explain to maybe the insurance company how they got that lead. Just ridiculous. Some of these people, I swear to God, they've reached out to me. One of them in particular, acting like she was a victim. She was not no victim. She knew exactly what she was doing. She hired people overseas to sell for her so she can cut corners and make more money. Because, hey, the less time that you're on the telephone selling, you can be closing, right? Well, that's the idea from these people, that they can sell a lot more insurance every day if they take away the closing and the selling, and they just focus on taking the information, binding the policy. And that's what these people did. And now they act like they haven't done anything wrong. No, you've broken every single guideline when it comes to telephone sales, not to mention you put your responsibilities of a licensed agent in the hands of somebody that lives in Pakistan that's not licensed to sell insurance. Just let that sink in for a little bit. Imagine if you needed a lawyer and the person that you're hiring to represent you is not a licensed lawyer. Would you be upset? Chances are you would. So again, if you're watching this, Liberty Bankers, SBLI, Ethos, and any other insurance company, ask yourself, what leads are your agents using? What methods are they employing to generate their business? And what you're going to find out is that a lot of insurance agents are clueless when it comes to this type of training. And you'd be amazed how many agents are falling for these pre-closed deals. And I know this because, again, I've had a lot of agents tell me that they were this close to getting involved with something like that. So you definitely don't want to be a part of it, because not only will you get sued, but you're going to end up losing your license, and the fines are ridiculously high, and they'll put you out of business. So if you're watching this, be careful. If you're looking for quality leads, give me an opportunity. I sell leads to insurance companies, agents, and all of them are 100% compliant. Peace.